Thank you very much for joining. Yes, it's very nicely. So, Parashat Shavua, right? Toldot, Yitzchak. We're running again in the Parsha, too fast. And the topic here, the page is Kuf Samech Aleph, and the topic is, not Kuf Samech Aleph. This one. So, Kuf Nun Tet, ויתרוצצו הבנים בקרבה. right? זה פסוק. ויתרוצצו הבנים בקרבה, ותאמר, אם כן, למה זה אנוכי, ותלך לדרוש את השם. So, ויתרוצצו, it's like running. So, in her womb, there was some kind of an activity, right? The boys, we know from the Parsha now, from the pasuk, that it's boys, right? She have boys. No ultrasound, but we know that she have boys. And she was really bothered, right? That's what's going on. And she went to ask Hashem. And Hashem told her, right? ואומר השם לה, שני גויים בבטנך ושני לאומים ממעייך ייפרדו, right? ורב יעבוד צעיר. Okay. And אור החיים הקדוש מקשה. He asked a question, right? Because Rivka was very, very bothered, right? And we know the Midrashim that's saying that when she passed in Beit Avodah Zarah, one of the babies was trying to get out, right? Or was getting excited. And when she went through a shul, a Beit Midrash, the other baby, now she didn't know that she have two inside. Like, what's going on? How is it possible that one person in the womb will go to idols and then he will go to Hashem? Right? So she go to ask Hashem, and Hashem told her, you have twins, and they will be separated, and there will be two nations, and the big ones, right, the multiply ones, will be actually working for the young one. And when she said, Ve'im ken lama ze anochi, like something like, I don't want this, I didn't sign for it. And O HaChaim HaKadosh makshe. So he asked a question. How is it possible that a righteous woman like Rivka will say that? Lama ze anochi? Only because she's suffering? Right? She's suffering, okay, chas v'chalila, God forbid, but even when somebody's suffering, still he needs to hold, right? To overcome or to accept and to continue to live his life. So as Rashi is explaining, right, the same thing. Because she was afraid, what she have inside the womb. Maybe it's something wicked, maybe it's not something good, so she doesn't want it. Vod Makshe, and also asking, right, the answer. Hashem is telling her, you have two nations in your womb, and that's why you're suffering. Also, when she said, and this is it's shocking, it's very difficult to understand how she was request for it. When she said Lama ze anochi, it means that she doesn't want to have any more children. That's it. And she didn't have. So the explanation, לכן ביאור העניין כדאית בתורת אבות ועוד ספרים, other books talking about it, the המחשבות, right? So we're taking all of these stories from the physical thing to the spiritual thing, right? To the spiritual. So לכן ביאור העניין, so the explanation is, the machshavot, our thought, named or they're titled banim, sons. And that's the thing. ויתרוצצו הבנים, like to have two type of thought running in our mind. Holy thoughts and impure thought. כמובן בראשי, right? So this is what Rashi is. So Rashi explained that when she was going near a holy place, Yaakov wanted to try to get out. And when she was passing through an impure place, then Esau was trying to get out. Because it means that the thoughts were mixed with the good and the bad. And that's why she said, like, Lama ze anochi? What's going on here? I don't want it. Because if it's a son, if it's a thought that is a mixture of a good and bad, I don't want it. Why is it for? Because the blemish, right? The begam etz hadat haya iruv tov v'ra. What happened is that before Adam was eating from the forbidden tree, then the good and the bad were very easy to identify. They were separated. But today we have the mixed. That's the most difficult things to have when you have something mixed, right? A good lie is a certain percentage the rest is true. Most of it is true, but then you sneak in a little bit of a lie. Very difficult to really find out, right? So she didn't want, Rivka didn't want it. Because if it's a thought, if it's a son that have a mixture of good and bad, למה זה אנוכי? And our forefather, והאבות הקדושים, המשיכו את עולם התיקון. They continuing the world of fixing, right? And all of their avoda, their job was to purify or to refine, right? To sift out the mixture from the good and the bad. And if this is her son, is a mixture of good and bad, it's not good. This is not what she signed for. And she went to ask Hashem. And Hashem told her, you have two nations. Perush, it's not one son or one thought that the good and the bad are mixed, but it's two separate ones. One is good, one is from the source, Makor HaTov, and the second one is the Makor, the source of it is all evil. And Ubeze nacha data. So she was calmed down. ומרומז בזה, it's a hint again on דרך העבודה. The שני הגויים, what are these two nations? Are the two inclinations that the person has. We have a good inclination, we have the bad inclination. This is how Hashem determined, right? This is how Hashem created the world with the perfect balance. So we will have the ability really to choose between the good and the bad, right? Perfect balance. And Hashem determined and created it, the Seder HaOlam. That's like the Seder HaOlam is the world order. That's not a new world order. That was the old world order, right? Seder HaOlam. This is how the world is fixed and created. That will be a constant war, a conflict between the evil inclination and the good inclination. And the purpose, that's the purpose, right? And this is what it says. V'Rav Yavot Seir. Rav, it's the Yetzer Hara. He's the evil inclination. He comes first. As it says, right? Lepetach hatat rovetz. Shemiyad, immediately when a person is born, then evil inclination born with him. But the Yetzer HaTov, the good inclination, it's called young one. Why? Because the good inclination come to us only when we are 13 years old, when we actually did the bar mitzvah, and then we're going on into the 14 years. Then the good inclination is started to be built up. That's why he's called the young one. And that's why also evil inclination calls a full old king. כמו שכתב הגאון רבי חיים ויטל, right, he was the student of the Rebbe Kadosh, when it says in Pesach, all 14 בודקים את החמץ, like to the light of the 14, when it's getting to 14, right, over there, they're referring to 14 Nisan, but he said here, 14, it's the 14 year of a person. Then when you have the good inclination, then you're checking the chametz to uproot the evil inclination. And that's the purpose, that the Rav, which is, again, the one that come before, is the Rav, this is the evil inclination, should serve the good inclination to conquer the evil inclination. ויצא הראשון אדמוני כולו, right? So the first one came out all red with hair. It was already made, right? Rishon, that was the evil inclination that comes when a person is born. And Admoni, what is Admoni? Red. So red, we know it's the color of din, it's color of judgment, color of strength. So here it's actually like a hint for the blood that is boiling to do a sin. And that's why they called him Esav, because he's already made up. He's made up and he's complete. When he's born, it's like exactly as he's born, right? He's ready to do sins, right? So he said, שכבר עם לידתו של האדם, exactly as the person is being born, then his evil inclination is already ready, complete, and is ready to work. And after that, his brother came out. That's the good inclination, that he comes only on the 14 years, and his hand holding the heel of Esav, right? As it says in Torah Avot, that he's holding him with the heel. שחלק הרע לא ירמוס את החלק הטוב. It's like he's holding him, he's trying to pull him, right? הוא מרמז וידו, so yad is 14, right? יוד דלת, 14. That's the yad, 14. שאז ידו אחוזת, right? That is holding the heel of Esav in order to conquer the evil in it. By the way, לשון הקודש יד, יוד דלת, right? Yud is 10, Dalet is 4. We have 14 joints. That's why it's called Yad. ויש לומר עוד בפירוש שומרו וידו, and we can explain more. And his hand holding the heel of Esav, ויקרא שמו יעקב, right? So they named him because of that, יעקב. Actually, it should be עקב, heel, not יעקב. So let's see. וכדי מה שצריך ברור, מה שקרא שמו יעקב, because he was holding the heel of Esav, right? He was holding the heel only at that time that he was born. And what now? Because he was doing something for a few seconds, now you're going to name him for the rest of his life because he was holding the heel of Esav, right? It's not a constant thing. So why Hashem named him Yaakov? So now we understand that for sure it's something infinite, right? It was not temporarily for a few seconds. We need to explain why Yaakov and not Akev, not a heel. And we can say, Kedeita basfarim הקדושים. The Akev, it's like an acronym. Akev, it's a heel in Hebrew. We learned it before. Rashi Tevot, it's an acronym for Kadesh Atzmecha B'mutar. Separate yourself or make yourself holy or restrict yourself even with the things that are allowed, right? The permissible thing. וזהו ידו אחזת בעקב עשיו, קדש עצמך במותר. Make yourself holy with the permissible thing. שבעניין זה של קדש עצמך, that's like a constant war between Yaakov and Esav. Because, you know, we said it before, I think, that there are major things today that even a Baal Tshuva, you know, at least for few years, will not have any sign. He's not going to Mechalel Shabbat. No Baal Tshuva, you know, after a few years that he's keeping Shabbos, will decide that he would like to drive or to go something or to do something really, you know, severe, right? So the evil inclination here does not really play a game. But in the permissible thing, that's the thing that we're allowed to do, but still we need to restrict ourselves. And that's the real world. War, sorry, that's the real war, okay? A constant one. And this is what it says, V'rav yavot tza'ir, that the evil inclination, which is Rav, we should serve the young one. So he said, what does it mean? Like, it seems to be like, how is it related here, that promise, Rav yavot tza'ir, that the old one will serve the young one, which means, like, the victory will be to the side of the good inclination. But if we say that the person have the free will to choose between good and bad, right? But this is the perfect balance. But what does it mean? He said it doesn't speak about the things that are really, really severe or the big one. It's talking about the real battle. Because again, you know, you take a Rav, right? A big Rav. He doesn't have this, you know, urge or desires like a normal person has, right? If you take a Gadol, he doesn't think about it. But it will have on the things that are thin like a hair. This is what it will have. The things that are even permissible. I cannot think about, you know, a really good example, but besides, I don't know, like drinking wine in Kiddush. We're allowed to drink wine in Kiddush, but we're not allowed to drink too much and get drunk, right? That's not good. We can drink wine, it's a kosher wine. That's the thing, and that's the constant war that we have with the evil inclination, to make ourselves holy in the permissible thing. So the im b'inyanei isur, right? So we just explained that something that we forbid to do, then a person is afraid. Is really, you know, again, I'm not talking about somebody that is still swinging between, you know, we realize, we know there is a shame, we know there are halachot, we know there are punishment, we know that there are rewards. The big one, we don't have a question anymore, right? But the ones that are very delicate, these are the ones that we are actually struggling. And that's the purpose of the entire Torah. ותכלית כל התורה והמצוות היא ואהבת את השם אלוקיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ומאודיך, right? So the purpose is to love Hashem with all our being, with all our hearts and everything. And that's the source and the root to make ourselves holy in the permissible thing, that we need to weigh everything. What is Hashem will? What is Hashem will? וזוהי תכלית התורה, and that's the purpose of the Torah. And I think it's something that is building up, you know, the more that we live, the more we learn and everything, then this thing is being refined. This is what he's talking about. וזהו הכוח, and that's the strength, so that the Rav, the evil inclination, will serve the young one. Because if we are making ourselves holy in the permissible thing, only because this is Hashem will, then that's the promise that the Rav Yavot say that the evil inclination will serve us. And the victory will be to the side of the good inclination. And it's including with that, Shelichora, it seems to be like the strength of the evil inclination is stronger, because he's the one that was born immediately when a person was born. So we have a heads up of 14 years over the good inclination, 14 years of experience, 14 years the evil inclination go to the gym, to exercise, is practicing, you know, the tricks and everything. And now you have the good inclination, you know, when a person has been just 13 years old, fresh and young, right? So it's looked like the evil inclination is much stronger than the good inclination. Even so, the Rav Yavot Seir, still, the evil inclination will serve if, again, we mekadesh ourselves with the permissible thing. Then the strength of the good will be stronger. Indeed, the war is strong, very strong, but the final victory is in our hand. If we are mekadesh ourselves with the permissible thing, then we will conquer the evil inclination. That's very difficult, right? And this is, we said, that's the real war, the battles that we have. And this is on the way, right? In other parasha, Parashat Ekev. What again, Ekev, it's the heel. What is the heel? The lower place, right? Or because of. And then if we will keep up the mitzvot, and Rashi explained over there, like the small thing that people usually don't pay attention, but if you will keep them the same way you're keeping the big ones, then Hashem will keep you the covenant, and He will love you, and He will bless you. And we didn't find in any other place in the Torah such kind of a blessing that Hashem will love us, because usually the brachot that we have is Hashem will give us rain, will give us cows, right, money and everything, and so on and so on, all the gashmiut. But here, about this type of things of the mitzvot, Hashem will love us. So he said, yeah, again, the Ekev, we're going back to the same word of Yaakov, Ekev, it's Akadesh Atzmecha B'mutar. So it's not only that small little mitzvot that people do not pay attention, but it's the thing that, again, that are permissible, we're allowed to do, but we need to limit ourselves. And to do, and that's deep inside, if we have a doubt, we just need to ask ourselves, will Hashem love what we are doing or not? And you get the answer. And you know the answer, right? Deep inside, you know the answer, if Hashem will love it or not, right? In another level, it's like, if I'll do something, will my wife support it? She will like it or not? And then you know if you need to do something that you're supposed to do or not. Very simple, right? Because it says, Kadesh atzmecha b'mutar, make yourself holy in the permissible thing. We're doing it only because we love Hashem, and not because we're afraid of a punishment, because there is no punishment here. There is no something like that we will be punished because, you know, we did or we didn't do, because it's permissible, right? So we don't have any other motive like reward or punishment. And that's why it will be a midah keneged midah, because we're doing it because we love Hashem and want to do Hashem will, and we want to please Hashem. Hashem will do the same thing to us. He will love us. And it said in the Pri Haaretz, in the book, that kol hanaa gashmit. So he said over there that all physical pleasure that a person is enjoying, even a permissible pleasure, but we don't do it for Shem Shamayim, we're doing it just for our own selfish need, then it's like separating us from Hashem. But the opposite, if we're doing something and we really mekaven and we do it for Shem Shamayim, in the permissible thing, then we're getting closer to Hashem. And then, chas v'chalila, if somebody have pshayim, somebody have sins, then the love of Hashem will overlook that. Although it's a little bit difficult to say, because we know that from the Chachamim that Hashem never overlooked on things, but this is like a special case, because if somebody is really mekadesh himself, but sometimes he failed, but in the majority of his things, he's really love Hashem and he's doing things that because he love Hashem, then the love will cover that, right? Because he's giving himself to Hashem, because from the thing that he really desires, but still he's holding himself, he's stopping himself. And not because he's afraid of the punishment. And then it will be midah keneged midah. And then it's a promise that the Rav, the evil inclination, will serve the good inclination. And that's why it says, in one hand holding the heel of Esav, because Esav is the evil inclination, right? And that's the strength that the Jew has, that Hashem give us to stand against the evil inclination and the desire, so he will not step on us. So we're holding the heel, so he cannot move the heel to step on us. And this is said the entire life of a Jew. It's the same thing. We have the mixture, the good thought, the bad thought, evil inclination, good inclination, and they're fighting the whole time. It's a constant battle. It's a struggle. Even tens of years, right? That people worshipping, serving Hashem, right? We have like Yochanan Kohen Gadol, somebody that went into the Kodesh HaKodashim year after year after year. And we need to know that a Kohen that goes into Kodesh HaKodashim, if he have one slight little tiny thought that it's not in the right place, he's dead. And Yochanan was in the Kodesh HaKodashim, I think, 80 years. And eventually he went off the derech. So this type of struggle is never ending. It's scary, right? But now when we learn, then we know it. When we know it. And that's the same thing, right? ויתרוצצו הבנים בקרבה, and the sons are running inside her womb, right? In our thought. Because the strength of the evil inclination is still not broken. And this is something that can actually break a person, can make a person be depressed, because so many years he's Baal Tshuva or is frum, right? Many years. And he's conquering the evil inclination. He think that he's conquering, but not. And then again and again and again. And then eventually it's find out like the evil inclination is still controlling him. So that's why the Torah wrote, Veyado, one hand is holding the heel of Esav. And he could nullify the evil inclination. And he could gain the victory. And that's the purpose. This is what Hashem wants, that one hand always will never give up. Always fall, right? It's a fight. It says, Sheva ipol tzaddik, right? Vekam. 7 times a righteous person fall, but he get up. And this is what makes him a tzaddik, because we are not perfect, right? And this is how Hashem created us. And we see that the evil inclination is stronger, seems to be, from the good inclination, right? So he says, שהרי באמת היית בספרים הקדושים, that math, שאם האדם כבר ניצח את יצרו, לשם מה יש לו לחיות בעולם, so like you do a simple calculation. If somebody really conquering his evil inclination, then he's done. He should die, leave this world, right? Moving to the next world. But the purpose, the Shem's will, is that the Jew will fight all his life to conquer the evil inclination. Tachat hatov. It's a constant battle. And always his hand will be holding the heel of Esav. And that's our job, all our life. Very difficult. And we have so many nisyonot on different type of levels, right? But that's the job. That's our war, constant war. כמסופר על האב הקדוש מברדיצ'ב, right? He says that שפעם אחת קודם כל נדרי, so just before כל נדרי in Yom Kippur, the evil inclination tried to push him to do a sin, a severe one. So he said that he pushed him away so strong that he like pushed away the evil inclination from other 10,000 Jews. So the first question should be, how can it possible, right, that the Berdevitcher, the Kadosh, that holy person will have such kind of strong evil inclination? But this is exactly Hashem's will. And we know that the greater a person is, then his evil inclination is greater too, right? It's big, right? ולכן נקרא שמו יעקב. יעקב, so we said it should be עקב, because it's קדש עצמך במותר. And the יוד, right, שבתחילה עניינה כמו שמצינו ביעקב דכתיב, לא יעקב יאמר עוד שמך כי אם ישראל, right? כי שרית עם אלוקים ואנשים ותוכל. So when the angel was fighting with Yaakov and he gave him the name, right, your name is not going to be Yaakov, but Israel. So the same way it should be Akev, it should be also Sarel. But what is the Yud? That Yud, as we found in Parashat Pinchas, that all the names of the tribe, the family names of the tribe, right, Hashem osif alem Hey veYud, upiresh Rati, like Hashem wanted his name to be attached also. So the Yud is symbolizing Hashem, the name of Hashem. So it should be Akev, but Yud with Hashem. So that's why it's Yaakov, Israel, right? Israel is also Yashar El, straight to Hashem, right? So this is what Rashi explained, that Hashem put his name on them, on their holiness, right? וזהו שאמר דוד, שבטי כה, עדות לישראל. These are the tribes. They're like testimonial for Israel to say a thank you to Hashem, because Hashem like signed his name on us, on all the tribes, right? ועל דרך זה היוד בשם יעקב, the same way in יוד, that Hashem is signing his name על קדש עצמך במותר, that when we do Hashem will, that's just to recap, when we do Hashem's will, and we ask ourselves what will please Hashem, and we really do it on the permissible things, the things that we're allowed to, and we're giving ourselves to Hashem in that thing, that means that we love Hashem because there are no punishment, and then Hashem will love us back. And that's why Yaakov was named Yaakov with the Yud, because Hashem really wanted to be signed, his stamp to be on Yaakov, because Yaakov is fighting, we're fighting all the time against our evil inclination with the good inclination. And this is an infinite, so it was not just a few seconds that Yaakov was holding the heel of Esau. We try to hold it all our life, and that's our purpose, that's the target for a Jew in the world, to fight it. And that's why we have a decoration is changing, the scenery is changing, Hashem facilitating everything, so we will be able to fight that. Thank you for listening. And have a great week. Nice. And a Chodesh Tov, it's Chodesh Kislev, and wish that we will hear only good Besorot Tovot, only good news. Only good news.